What's up, everybody?
Hey!
I thought you were going to spill that soda. Is that the way you were looking at me?
That is why I hate you.
Welcome to the podcast, folks.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, you did say it. You just said it a little late. You did hello, hello in the bottle. You went, hoo, hoo. For people who aren't listening or aren't watching, Joaquin had a giant 2-liter Coca-Cola bottle he blew into.
And for those who aren't listening, I was just going crazy for a second. In mute.
True story. Oh, you were in mute?
No.
Oh, I'm
because
just stupid.
you originally said for those who are listening and you corrected yourself.
At least I corrected myself this time. Usually I just brain fart my way through it. Speaking of, we watched, you don't watch Saturday Night Live at all, do you?
Oh, no.
We just watched the newest one with Rami Youssef. Are you familiar with him?
I am familiar with Rami Youssef.
They've had a lot of stand-up folks on lately. I don't know what the deal is, but it kind of started with Bill Burr. I remember he was like the first one where they had on just somebody who was just straight stand-up, no acting. Like they've had on like Louis C.K. obviously and Eddie Murphy, but Eddie Murphy was on SNL.
Eddie Murphy was an SNL alum, so
and Louis C.K. had been in lots of TV shows and movies and stuff.
Also, I think he was also a writer for SNL for a bit.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think he was a writer.
A lot of the actors come from being writers or auditioned and they were good enough to be actors, but then became writers for the show.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I think you're right. So, but like, I can't even name the people they've had on because they're people I didn't even know who they were. I was just like, who the hell's that? Oh, a stand-up comedian. But that dude, it was clear he was good, but he was definitely like, it was pretty obvious it was his first foray into like live TV and stuff. He was like mixing up words and stuff too, like I just did. But
it happens. It's not like a Steve Seagal situation. So
no. SNL is terrible in general now. I don't know why we still watch it, but
I feel like SNL has consistently been inconsistent on like what seasons are good or what seasons are bad. Like they just have like this wave, like a theremin.
They do.
They go up, they go down. And I think it's because they have a revolving door of writers.
They do. So they have. Well, the cast makes a difference too, because I remember when I was a kid,
writers in cast.
When I was a kid, it was like Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan and Sherry O'Terry and like all these huge folks at the time that made the show really good. And then it just sucked. And then all of a sudden, it was the cast with like Andy Samberg and Kristen Wiig and all those folks, and it was like this
Tina Fey and
that was Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. So it was like then that cast got big, and then just recently they had a pretty strong cast with Kate McKinnon and Cecily Strong and these people that had segued into TV and movies, but now they're all gone. So now like the cast is essentially Kenan Thompson and a bunch of pretty new cast members.
It's really funny because Kenan has been part of the SNL cast for an extremely long time, like to this point that he's like the grizzled veteran. Whenever somebody new comes in, he's like, "What's up, new fish?" He's like that guy now.
He is,
where he's been there for a good cast and bad cast.
I think he's been there for like over 16 years at this point, if I recall.
Way too long. He's been there way too long.
Yeah, but like it could be one of those.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, it could be one of those things where you got a good gig, you just stick with it.
No, I'm not blaming him for it. I mean, like, Kenan has been doing sketch comedy since he was a child.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, it was just all sketch comedy basically his entire life, besides the Kenan and Kel show and the 2 Good Burger movies.
Yeah, and he does a lot of side work too, but he's never like the starring role. But like he does voice acting. Roles. Yeah, he does a lot of voice acting.
I mean, that's because of the trolls and. I mean, because Kenan isn't good with voices. He's funny.
It's his voice every time he does
like
voice
for
acting.
His celebrity. Well, that's what I'm saying, for his celebrity. Because remember, he was on SNL for years before they stopped giving him roles as random black guy in the background.
Yeah,
because they were treating him like garbage. Like the first few years he was in.
You're right.
So until like What's Up With That became a thing, which is like one of my favorite skits.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
Kenan Thompson was one of my favorite actors as a child growing up.
Oh,
So
I think everybody our age loved him when we were kids because
Kenan
all
and Kel,
that,
and
and
Kenan and
Kenan and
Kel is
Kel.
just like that. That was the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. I mean I still remember a lot of all the characters and the actors from all that. Who's Amanda
Amanda
Bynes?
Bynes.
She was
Amanda
also on
Bynes.
there too, and you know, whatever happened to her, she's
Well,
gone down the hill.
you heard about the documentary that came out.
I did not. There's a documentary on her.
So let me look it up so I can name it correctly.
I did not know that they did
a documentary just came out. It's about the showrunner. I can't his name. He was the fat guy in Good Burger. He was the manager.
The Nickelodeon dude that ran all the Nickelodeon shows.
Yeah, the guy was obsessed with feet, like a little bit more than
he's a creepy fuck, right? Not that being obsessed with feet. I'm not kink shaming. This guy is a creepy fuck.
Like he was obsessed with children's feet.
Yeah, this guy is.
It was like Dan something. Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider. Yep.
So the Dan Schneider doc came out, and Amanda Bynes wasn't. I don't think she was in it. I didn't watch it.
Right.
But I knew about it, and I knew about the Dan Schneider Amanda Bynes thing, where it was like claimed that he got her pregnant and stuff like that. Like he fucked her life up.
Oh,
essentially,
I didn't know it went that bad.
That's as far as the documentary goes. Again, it's a documentary. Like I consider documentaries as hearsay until
it's a documentary. But I mean, I could say I read Jeanette McCurdy's book.
Jeanette McCurdy, yep.
She talked at length about what she didn't name him specifically, but it was obviously very clear who she was talking about.
It was him and a bunch of other producers.
But she was very clear about how he was a piece of shit and actually abused her and sexually harassed her and other cast members and people on iCarly as well.
Well, it's crazy because Dan Schneider, now I didn't watch the documentary itself, but I did watch Dan Schneider's reply to the documentary on YouTube.
You don't reply. You don't. You're a piece of shit. You just leave it alone.
Well, this man, first of all, one of his former actors was the person interviewing him. And fuck him too. Fuck this guy.
It was a dude?
Yeah, and it was a soft-spoken black guy. That's the only thing I know him as, because he was babying Dan Schneider the entire time. And it was in a created set with multiple camera angles.
Yeah.
And there was this part I will never forget. Dan's like, and she asked me to help and he just starts crying. And it's on cue. It was an on cue cry. And then he goes, "Thank you for being so vulnerable. Do you need a moment?"
Oh.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, that's bad.
That's so, you know that nobody's gonna have any sympathy for you if you don't try to have some kind of decorum. We don't have sympathy for you to begin with. But you think that just blubbering and then having this nigga next to you, yes, I'm gonna call him that, next to you going, "Are you okay, massa?" Get the fuck out of here. He was your employee. Why would have him interview you?
In the apology video, was he straight up apologizing yes, I did these things and trying to justify them? Or was he none of this happened?
He started it off by saying, "I've acted inappropriately. There was no reason. There was no reason." He basically glossed over everything while saying he did some things and then spending the rest of his time excusing it and saying how good of a guy he was.
Every one of these motherfuckers that does this shit, whether it was Matt Lauer or
Bill Cosby,
Bill Cosby, or Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky, it's always, "I acted inappropriately."
It's kiss my ass.
Acting inappropriate is I was talking during a movie.
Right?
That's acting inappropriately.
Look, you know what? If he just came on the set and acted like an asshole, I would say 3 days a week.
Yeah.
That's acting inappropriately for his job.
Sure. That's
just
acting
being a dickhead, pushing the numbers, pushing the time. Well, we got to get this thing done. We got to get this scene done. Look, I'm not spending all this money for you guys to be shit actors.
Sure.
That would be fine.
Touching young girls is not acting inappropriately. That is a whole different thing.
And obviously what's going to stick out to me is he then makes a claim. He goes, "I just helped all these black actors and I did this." This has nothing to do
Well, that's just
with what you're being accused of. Nobody said that you were a racist. Nobody brought up black actors with you.
That's a whole different thing. Okay, so I'm going to use this. This actually kind of goes in with it's something that I want to bitch about. Okay, so on Patreon,
okay,
I have a I subscribed to a particular podcast. I don't think this is the podcast's fault, but I'm not going to specify them by name. But when I went to be a Patreon for this podcast, there's a field and it says it's not like a membership based thing. It says like they do it per post, right?
Okay.
And then the field where you entered the amount just says blank per month, right? So I put in $5 per month, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put in $5 per month. I got hit. It's not like it's a lot of money, but it's more than $5. I got a $20 PayPal in receipt for this particular Patreon. And I was like, what gives? What's going on? So I go and I look again at the membership page, and it still says $5 a week. And then above that, it has a box that's like set a monthly limit. And I was like, why does it have a monthly limit if I'm saying $5 per month? And then down under that, it has like subtotals, and it's like subtotal $5 per week. So something's fucked up with the page, because it very clearly says per month in the field I entered. So I sent an email to Patreon. I was like, yo, I'd like to be refunded, the $15 difference. Like, here's a screenshot of your page. It very clearly, where I enter the amount, which is the main thing I'm going to look at, right? It says per month. And I send it to him. And the email I get back says, well, yes, it does say per month or there, but above that, you'll see there's a monthly limit checkbox, which you could have used. And down below at the bottom, it says per week. And I was like, so these motherfuckers just doubled down. I wrote an email back and I was like, so are you saying I'm stupid because I didn't see those other things, but your main field
those other things shouldn't be there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
you fell for it. It's your fault.
Just because it says it in another place correctly doesn't negate the fact that the main field where I put the amount I want to pledge says per month, and it's clearly something wrong. And they explained to me it's per post. So they posted 4 paid posts, so it was 4 times 5. It's like, well, then it should say per post in that field, not per month. So I'm still waiting. They were like, send us this info and we'll put, we send off to our team to see if you're eligible for a refund.
You know what's really stupid? They're fighting you over $15.
Yeah,
$15 can mean a lot to you, but not to their company.
And guess what? I canceled the subscription now. So now that Patreon group gets nothing going forward, where if they just fixed it, I would at least that $5 a month or whatever would have continued. But they just doubled down and called me stupid, and we're the same thing. We're like, well, yeah, it's wrong here, but it's right here, so it's fine. It's like, it doesn't negate the fact that you fucked that part up, Anyway.
Oh, by the way, the documentary is called Quiet on the Set. Quiet on Set.
I'll have to check that out. Oh, I started watching, I don't know if it's something you're interested in, but Dick Wolf was still one of the best names. One of the best names in the media industry. Do you know who Dick Wolf is?
He's the guy that writes all the Law and Order and stuff.
Yeah, the face
all those shows.
The face what you made when I said Dick Wolf, you just
No, it's just funny coming out of your mouth because I knew you were going to giggle about it.
It's a funny name, Dick Wolf.
Is it a wolf made out of dicks, or is it like a giant dick-shaped wolf?
I think it's a dick wolfer. Like, it's a person who wolfs dicks.
All right.
He has a new documentary on Netflix called Homicide. Okay. It's Homicide New York, and it's basically kind of Law and Order, but it's documentary style, episodic in series where they each episode is a case, like a real murder that took place in New York. So the first episode was the Carnegie Deli murders, which I don't know if I wasn't familiar with them.
I saw
early 2000,
a show on YouTube talking about it.
Yeah, it was recently. It was really good. It was interesting the way they presented it and like explained how New York's precincts work and how the homicide units are divided, and it was a really good documentary. So I'm looking forward. There's 6 episodes, but just a shout out if you're interested in, if you like Law and Order, if you like true crime. The first episode was really good. It's really well done with the actual detectives that work the case, and no censoring anything. They're just talking like they would, like fucking this, fuck,
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I liked it a lot. So just a documentary you might want to check out.
So we mentioned how just like you were watching Law and Order, my wife is going through all the seasons of SVU.
Right. Yep.
And she's still doing that, and we don't watch it together because I don't sit and watch procedurals like that. But
What
I
are
do
those
catch a little
on?
bit.
What streaming service are those
She's
on?
watching it on Hulu.
Okay. All right. And they go back to series 1, season 1.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, because Law and Order, they don't have. There's nowhere you can go back to the first season. Like I had to use my nefarious means to watch it. Anyway, go ahead.
Because I think she's on season 16, maybe. But there's a character. Spoilers. I'm not going to remember names, but I'm going to give a spoiler warning anyway. So there's a character who's like the son of like the chief, and you get to watch him develop as like a police officer.
Right.
And there, like, it was one of the episodes that captivated me. Like, I was just sitting in the other room, and all of a sudden I'm walking into the living room watching it.
Okay.
And he gets shot. There's a part he gets shot in the gut. And they do the scenes after where he's in the hospital and he's talking to his dad. He was like, "Hey, pop," and he's talking to him. The makeup, I giggled at the scene because the makeup they did it. He was losing blood, so he's super pale and like yellowish.
So this is this Dan Florrick's characters?
I don't know.
Reagan?
He's
The
I
bald
don't know.
guy?
The name doesn't. No, not
What
a bald
season
guy. He's
is
a young
she
dude.
watching?
I just said it might be 16.
Oh, okay. So that's
It's a younger guy. It's a young guy. He's
I
like
missed that. Sorry.
He's like in his early 30s, late 20s.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. All right.
And they did his makeup up where he's like sick, kind of sweaty, but he's bled out of his gut.
Yeah.
And possibly has sepsis. He was just seen, so he's talking to his dad. His dad kisses him on the forehead, which I think that was an ad lib because that actor had paint on his lips the entire time after that, which I did giggle at. But they're filming these really fast.
Yeah.
So I get that mistake. I can suspend my disbelief for that.
Yeah, when you're putting out
it was
22 episodes a season.
Yeah, the acting is top notch.
Really? That's good.
Like the scene, like it hurt watching it, and I was just like sitting there in silence. And so Benson comes in to talk to him, and he is just saying gobbledygook. He's not making any sense. He's like responding as if he's saying the right words, but he's not.
Yeah.
Which is a form of
delirium.
Not delirium. It's when you're missing blood to your brain, and so it starts malfunctioning.
Okay.
And a stroke. That also happens when you have a stroke, which also can be caused by blood clots.
Sure. Yep.
Stopping flow to the brain. So he was just saying gobbledygook. He was like kind of his hands were like crunching up towards himself. So she's like, "There's something wrong," and he's like, "Well, he's doped up." It's like, no, there is something wrong. Let's have him checked. He gets checked, and they try to save him, but he dies.
Of course.
And
mind you, man, they like the drama.
It fucked me up that they did the thing where like, oh, he's gonna make it, and then he doesn't.
Yeah,
that always gets me, no matter what it is.
When they do that.
Even in bad stories, that always gets me. So I'm watching it again. I'm not focusing on my wife right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of standing up. She's sitting down, and the actor who played the chief, the dad, is talking, and he's like being matter of fact, and he breaks down, and it's so real. And I look over at my wife, and she has tears in her eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And it kind of broke me out because I realized she was upset, and I went to go I was attempted to say something or reach out to her, and I realized I was shaking.
Yeah.
And then they did the funeral, and it just I went way back in the we ended up talking for 3 hours after that because we had some kind of emotional breakthrough over
crazy.
A TV show.
Yeah,
and it was such
crazy.
A good episode.
I'm gonna have maybe I'll have to get back into SVU because I'm weird with TV. I think I told you, I don't know if it was on the podcast, but I told you we watched the Last of Us TV show. And some of the sadder parts, I'm fine. And then I started playing the remake of the game, and I'm 15 minutes in, the daughter died, and I just started and it's just hit me differently. I don't know. We're watching the Fargo series now, and we just watched an episode with a scene where the one of the characters, two of the characters are married, and the husband dies, and she's like, the wife, Kirsten. Spoilers. Kirsten, I mean, this is a 10-year-old season now, but Kirsten Dunst is the wife, and she's like, we got to go get him. He's okay. He's okay. Come on, Ed. We're saved. Come on. And like, I'm just nothing. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why. Like, movies get to me. TV series is usually, I don't know what it is. Something about TV doesn't usually get to me as bad. But that sounds like a good episode, and I believe I stopped watching SVU before then, so I don't know. I've wanted to go back and start watching from the beginning, but I'm like, I don't want another 400 episodes to come.
Well, I'll say like this: the way they did this with this character, I don't know how many seasons he was in before they killed him, but he had full character development. They went straight through, and since it's not like a movie where they introduce a character, you grow to like them, and then they die. We have episodes upon episodes with this guy, and it doesn't necessarily focus on him. It treats him just like anyone else in the cast.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time with those characters on TV shows like that, especially again where there's 22 episodes a season. You get. I mean, if I were watching this view and like Benson got killed, it'd be different. Like, you spent 25.
I'm done
years
watching this show. It's over
with this character.
Stabler is not even a character in the show as far as I know anymore. And if they say off screen, they go like, Stabler passed away.
He has his own
done with the show.
He has his own show. He's got
Stabler, like the character.
Yeah, they have Law and Order Organized Crime now, so he's on that show. And they do crossovers all the time, because when I was watching one of the more recent seasons of regular Law and Order, it was like a 3-part episode where it was one on Law and Order, one on SVU, and one on Criminal Intent. Criminal Intent, that's the old series, Organized Crime. Yeah. And you had to watch all 3 to get the whole story, even though I was able to stop with just the Law and Order episode, and like that was enough. Like, they did that. There was closure. They did that with another
show, one with the like all the cops in the other show. Yeah, where they were all dirty.
Yep.
All the cops are dirty in that show. That's all I really remember.
They love.
And they had like multiple crossovers with
They're good for ratings, and they get people to watch the newer show. Like, so they did that so people would watch Organized Crime, and that would get an audience. Which I don't think they needed to, because everybody that watched SVU loved Stabler. Was like, he was the best character, and was so upset.
I think it was just the actor was
Christopher Maloney.
Yeah, he was just doing other things.
He was,
but he's like a forever cop.
He did True Blood.
Did
you watch that season?
I don't like True Blood, so no, I didn't watch it.
It was so bad.
I just know he was in it.
His character was so bad and over the top and poorly acted, and he's a great actor. It was just the way it was written. It was just
it's so between writing, directing, and acting, and editing.
I mean, he's a good actor, so it was clear to me that they just were like, act like a moron. Act very poorly.
I love him in Happy. I fucking love Happy.
Happy, you're right. Yeah, that was good. He's been in a couple things where he was really good. He's been in a couple things as like a comedic relief character too, and he was good.
Yeah. Oh no, he's hilarious. But again, he's a forever cop. He's one of those actors. Yeah. Even if he's not playing a cop,
he just looks like one.
He's just gonna be a cop.
Well, he looks like a cop. You look at him and you go, cop.
Not cop.
Yeah, it is what it is. Nothing you could do about it.
So you mentioned how you play games and it like you felt things. So I downloaded a game called Tale of Arise. It is a weeaboo action RPG, JRPG.
I'm thinking of a different
game because it's called the Tales series. So there's like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of something with an S. I can't remember all of them.
Okay.
But regardless, so Tales of Arise is this game that came out. I don't remember when it came out, but it's free on Game Pass, so I downloaded it. Because sometimes I find a JRPG that I really like.
Free is good.
And I realized, playing this game, I realized why I fell out of liking anime.
Okay.
Because with every cool idea, there's always something just god-awfully stupid. So, to begin with, you're playing this character called Iron Mask. That's what they call him in the beginning of the game. He's a slave. He's what's called a Danon, which is a slave.
Okay.
They're slaves to people called Renans, which are apparently space people. They live in the skies, and they came from space, apparently, or some shit. And the slaves toil all day. They work all day, and you see them dying. It's like it has like bright anime look, but like dead kids at the same time. Like they just do that shit.
Okay.
So, and the big deal with your character is that he can't feel pain.
Okay.
So he like gets whacked on the back and he's like bleeding. And they're like, you need to see the doctor. He's like, yeah, this might get infected. Let me go see the doctor. Like, he just doesn't care. And he has a strong sense of justice. Well, they meet this girl who's being chased by the military, who has this ability that if anybody touches her, she can cause immense pain to them, called thorns. She can't control it. That's why she doesn't want people to touch her.
Okay.
I think you're on mute. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sorry.
So, fine. Main character can touch the female character. And the reason why I'm calling it a female character, because she has no personality beyond that, no matter how much they try to push it. She's just really mean.
She's just female
she
character.
is the female character. Which, I can say the same thing for Iron Mask. I'm only going to call him Iron Mask because they say it like a million goddamn times. He really has little to no personality. I actually got a big laugh out of when he first remembered his name in the game, which you have to go through like an hour of gameplay before you get to that point.
Just for that?
Just before the main character remembers his own name and you see his face.
The whole hour? Jesus.
So the girl's mean. The guy, like, there's a revolution. They're trying to fight, blah, 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 blah. The big mentor character just exposits the entire story to you. So we're playing the game, and we find out, the Renans work the Danans to death because they call them embedded. They embed these stones in their hands, and they feed energy from the slaves. So the slaves don't need to work in the mines, but we work them to harvest their energy.
Okay.
And so that's why we work them to death. Okay, so you need the energy from the slaves, so that's why they work so much. Okay. The main character doesn't have a stone in his hand. So why do they have him work? And mind you, if they give this to me later on in the game, I don't fucking care at this point because this is a giant plot hole. He works just like everyone else. He has no memory of who he is or whatnot. They never put a stone in his hand. He's apparently been a slave for a year.
So is it gonna?
Nobody puts a stone in his hand.
Have you gotten far enough where maybe this is gonna just play into the story later?
They talked about so much garbage. I don't know yet. I'm gonna keep playing until I get fully frustrated. But I'm at the point that I want to uninstall it. The combat is fine. The animation, the graphics, they're fine. Invisible walls everywhere, and you give me a jump button, and I can't jump on top of things, but fucking fine. But the main character, so they're not harvesting anything from him. So why keep him around? He's a threat, if anything. You don't need him to move anything. The way the main character escaped is they said, we want you to go on the train and move to harvest like this wood or whatnot. Why are you trusting him to do that? He's a slave.
I hope it's one of those games where it's going to pay off later and
you'll find out all
it sounds like it's not.
It's so bad. The girl, this is why another reason why I call her the girl. Because her animations are the stiffest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, she puts her hand on her shoulder and her right arm is just sticking straight out like a fucking arrow, so she looks like a Christmas tree.
I'm a little teapot.
And she is. That's exactly what she's doing. And she like turns to talk to you and she like rotates her whole body and her arm's still sticking out. The main character, the guy, he moves like a person. It's so bad.
They ran out of dev time to finish her animation.
Right? They tried so hard to make her pretty and not make her a person. And just like, there are so many games out that do way better than this.
Do you know who made the game?
I will look it up, but I don't remember. It's not Atlas. Important. It's definitely not Atlas.
It's not important. It's just some shitty studio. Meanwhile, I'm playing The Last of Us, and it's one of the best games ever. And you know what's weird?
It's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam and IGN.
That's bullshit.
Fucking how?
As I'm going through different sections in The Last of Us, it's so weird. It feels like a memory of being somewhere. It's so weird how that can happen in a video game. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, I get to a part and I'm like, I remember the part, but it doesn't feel like, oh, I remember playing this before. It feels like I've been here
Bandai
before.
Namco.
Bandai Namco. I'd expect a little more from them.
I don't trust them to put money behind their games.
No, they're
Tales
not
of Symphonia
great,
is the one I was talking about because I used to like that game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard these days. There's so many developers that put out too many games and they're bad, and then you have like Naughty Dog and Remedy where they're really Rockstar, where they're just focused on like one game at a time, and they're just putting everything.
I'm about to
game.
drop Rockstar.
What's wrong with Rockstar?
I know GTA 6 is probably going to be gorgeous.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Hopefully the story's great. I like GTA 5, but they went the way of Steam for a while when it came to game making
GTA 5.
with GTA Online, and just how awful that is.
Perpetuating GTA 5 for over 10 fucking years and 3
re-releasing the goddamn game, making online its own. Fuck that.
I tried to start doing the online play, and I realized, one, it's not going to be fun without other people playing with you because there are all those heists and shit you got to do, and they're not as good as. I just can't see them being fun without multiple play. Yeah, but even so, I can't see them being good without more than one person playing.
Yeah.
And two, the need, like, if you don't have a shit ton of cash, you're like fucked. And I know they did a promotion at one point where they're like, if you log in within these 2 days, you're gonna get $10 million in your account, which is just silly.
Yeah.
And I think I did it, and I still didn't bother playing it at all. Did you ever get into GTA Online?
I did in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that plays it now.
But I know there's a lot of what's one looking for? A lot of videos on it that I have watched just because I want to see what the appeal is, because I own GTA 5.
Yeah, me too.
But I beat it. That was my deployment game.
I know.
I played that deployed.
I was going to say, I beat it like 10 years ago plus.
Yeah.
Over 10 years ago.
The story was what I really play it for at this point, because it's still GTA. Like, the controls, you're controlling like marionettes.
2013 it was released.
Jesus Christ.
11 fucking years ago that game came out. And I don't think 6 is due until at least next year. So it's going to be at least 12 years. I think it's
next year. I think it's late next year.
So we got at least 12 years in between games. That's just unbelievable.
But everybody's just like, GTA's first female character. It's like, just make a good character. I don't care.
Well, everybody was bitching and moaning that they were going to have a female. Oh, why is a female character?
Them.
Why doesn't
as long as she's good.
A female character?
And mind you, it's not even. They split hairs because it's technically you're playing a couple, according to what I've heard.
But like,
you're playing her and her boyfriend.
But nobody complained about Horizon having a female lead or Tomb Raider having a female lead
because it's not a new franchise. I'm like, GTA, you're playing a new character
every game.
As long as you're a criminal.
Right.
It shouldn't matter.
It took them, well, we'll say, I don't know how many. There was 3. There was San Andreas. There was Vice City. There's 4. Mm-hmm. There's at least 5, or if you count the Game Boy Advance or whatever games. There's probably
the one that was in
8.
Hong Kong?
Yeah, there's probably there's Liberty City Stories, and then there was that one, the one, Chinatown Wars, I think.
Chinatown Wars, that's what it was.
Something like that. So there's I
was thinking of.
There's got to be 7 or 8 games already in the series. It's like, oh, so sorry. They finally are gonna have a female lead. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, nobody really cares.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody who matters cares.
That's true. It's a small minority on the internet making throwing a shit fit, and then everybody reports on it as like, and people are mad about female
and a bunch
character.
Of plants. And a bunch of plants that are trying to stir up more controversy.
Sure. Yeah. No, you're right.
Also, in gaming news, so there's a mobile game called Until Dawn. It's pretty much a zombie shooter.
Not the you're not talking about the regular PS4 and Xbox game.
Sorry, I said Until Dawn, didn't I? That's a game. No, Undawn.
Which they're making, we're talking. I think we talked about they're making it into a movie, right? Until Dawn.
Yes,
we talked about makes no sense because the game was a movie. It was just an interactive movie.
So the game's called Undawn.
Undawn, okay.
And it's a zombie, survival thing. And they got Will Smith to be a character. Will Smith, they have a commercial. Who's like, Will Smith's like, that's hot. Yeah, I'm in the game. Like,
play as Will Smith with slapping action.
You don't get to play as Will Smith.
Oh.
He's just a settler. And you get to play a mission with him. And guess what? He's not even the voice. This is not even his fucking voice.
Oh, come on. They should make it so his character just runs around and slaps people.
Right?
As you go through each area. You meet a new character.
PS2 style graphics. Like, it's not that great. I'll even say PS3. They should do PS3.
Every time you meet a new character, like, you get into you go up to the saloon. I don't know where it takes place. Saloon? Why did I put it in the Old West? Because I was thinking of Wild West.
Well, because that's a good reference too. But I think it's because it's zombie survival, post-apocalyptic kind of game. That's
you meet another survivor. The guy's like, "Hey, who are you?" And he just runs up and slaps him, and then the dialogue just continues, like as if it didn't happen.
I kind of want to play it in hopes that there's a slap emoji in the game to see how many people are just like spamming the shit out of that
the slap emoji.
But I watched Video Game Donkey, who's hilarious on it. I was like, is that real? Is that fucking real? And I had to look it up, and it's really bad. So and they made him like oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm like, man, that slap really did fuck up his career.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does anybody care though? Like, what does he care that Will Smith is quote unquote in the game?
No, I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna care either. Yeah, that's stupid. I
hate funny.
I mean, they've done that before. They did that with. The first example I could think of is Kate Upton in. Was it League of Legends or War? Which were?
Yeah, well, they did her, and they did who's the MMA woman? I can't think of her name right now. They got Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey, yeah.
They did Ronda Rousey in that game. That's that same game. And also, one of my first encounters with a celebrity in a video game that I remember, a mobile game, was Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, but it was for Ariana Grande.
God, have you seen?
I was like, in a leather bunny suit, mind you.
Speaking of Ariana Grande, have you seen the new trailer? For the Wicked movie, Part 1?
No.
She's white in the movie, which I guess makes sense because the characters.
Who's she? Who is she playing?
She plays Glenda, the Good Witch, in Wicked. So in
Ariana
the movie,
Grande.
Yes, I think they have. I think it's supposed to be the comparison between Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, with her dark green skin. So I don't know if they did it intentionally, but she was on SNL as the host, or maybe she was just the musical guest.
She had one of the
last 2 weeks.
She had one of the better. Oh my God, she's actually black though. Like the Elphaba,
the
is a black actress.
But
I'm looking at it now. Holy shit!
Ariana Grande's made a whole career after her Nickelodeon of always looking like she's got really dark skin, and she's in this movie without her spray tan,
and she's pale. She's a Spaniard,
pale. And she was on SNL a couple weeks ago. The same, like she didn't have her spray tan, so I don't know if she's done with that phase.
I like Wicked. I like the stage play. I like Wicked.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna be very amused by the people that are gonna read into like race play in this.
Yeah.
By having the Hispanic woman be as white as possible.
She's not Hispanic.
And the black woman. Ariana Grande is Hispanic.
She's Italian, isn't she?
I think Ariana Grande's. Now you're gonna make me look it up.
I'm pretty sure she's Italian, because she's a little white Italian girl, and then she just spray tanned the shit out of herself. But that's why she wanted you to think she was some sort of minority. I'm telling you, that's why she did it.
Sorry, I typed up in Google Ariana Grande race and ethnicity, and the first question is Cora, so you know it's gonna be some wild shit.
Yeah.
Because it's the Yahoo Answers.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's terrible.
And it says, when did Ariana Grande become African American?
Never.
Ariana Grande was born in Florida. She's Italian.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Grande,
Holy
man. Her last name's Grande. I mean,
yeah, but that's gonna be a stage name.
Yeah, but if you look at the pictures of her, she was a little white girl when she was in
So she was having a
Nickelodeon.
Guidette moment, not a Hispanic
Absolutely.
thing.
But no, but
Man.
to your point, I always thought she was Hispanic too because she looked Hispanic after
Yeah.
she started spray tanning the shit out of herself. So I guess
She-
she's done with that phase. She's going to go back into being a white person again.
Oh my God. I swear, just like they God damn it.
She got you.
She did.
She
She
got
really
me too.
did.
She got me too. I don't know when I finally established and was like, oh wait, that bitch is Italian.
Like my daughter likes Sam and Cat. Sam,
Yep.
I love you said her name earlier. I'm having
Jeanette
a really
McCurdy.
bad day recalling names, but I love Jeanette McCurdy in that show.
She's great.
Like
She was great.
I liked her
in general.
I liked her in everything she's in.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
she's happy that I'm happy she's happy not acting anymore. But
Right, yeah.
her Sam character was an awesome character.
Yeah, it was a great character until you read
I could
her
not
book.
stand Cat. No, her character was fine. Her what she went through was terrible.
Right. No, you're right.
Most child actors, unfortunately, that's the case. I did not like Ariana Grande's character, Cat. I didn't like but now,
yeah, it was annoying. It was an annoying character.
Now my whole world's flipped turned upside down. Will Smith reference.
I'd like to take a minute sorry.
Because now it's just like I've spent all that time begrudgingly watching the show, going, "Wow, this Hispanic girl being forced to act like a dumb white girl." Now this finding out, no, she's just so racially ambiguous.
Yeah, she is a dumb white girl. She just after that she was like I don't know if she thought it would give her more credit in the music industry or
whatever those people were telling her.
Maybe she thought she looked better. I don't know what it is. But now apparently it's over. So it's and Wicked Part 1, which I'm not going to see. I refuse to see because it's a part 1. I can't stand when they take a story and they split into 2 movies. Did you ever
especially when it doesn't need to be split?
Like I think it started with Deathly Hallows with Harry Potter. That was the first
one. I thought it started
with
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right because Return of the King they split into 2 movies, right?
They split into 2.
And but did you ever watch the Hunger Games movies?
No, I can't stand them. I saw the first one.
So they did that with the third.
I did not like Katniss as a character at all.
The third book they split into 2 movies, but that wasn't my issue. The second movie ends on a straight cliffhanger. We went to see it in the theaters because my wife wanted to see it, and the movie just ended like in the middle of the action, and I just was I vocally went, "What the fuck?" That's it? It's over? My wife's like, yeah, that's how the book ends. That's not an ending. That's the middle of a movie. They ended that movie in the middle of a movie, and then they took the second book and the third movie and literally split it into 2. But I'm like,
oh my god!
You took basically one storyline and stretched it across 3 movies over the course of like 6 years, and I had to wait 6 years. I guess I could have read the books, but I had to wait 6 years for a resolution of that goddamn story, and it wasn't satisfying at all.
I could be wrong about this, but didn't they do this thing where at least when Lord of the Rings came out, it was called Return of the King, and then the second one was Return of the King Part 2. Like they didn't actually put the part into the story until after, or did they call it Part 1 in the beginning?
I don't recall. No, you might. You know what? I worked at Media Play as those were coming out. So
yeah, because I know people complained about stuff like that, and then they started saying Part 1 and Part 2, like front loading it.
I hate that they do that, and like I get it. I think Return of the King was a big book, and Deathly Hallows was a really big book, but that's never been an issue before. They've taken giant novels and condensed them down to a single film.
They split The Hobbit into 3 movies. Remember that?
Oh, well, that's just a fucking abuse.
That was just
power.
cash. Yeah, that was
fuck that.
Clearly a cash.
I didn't watch those specifically because they split it into 3 movies, and I never particularly cared for The Hobbit to begin with. I didn't like the book. I didn't like the animated movie. I was forced to watch it in high school. Bleh.
Same.
And that's kind of why I didn't like it, which is funny because I'm now going through and trying to read like high school, college, like classics. I just read, excuse me, I just reread Animal Farm.
Yeah, you said it last week.
Yeah, so I just finished that, and I'm going to read 1984 next, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's funny because now I'm going through and reading these books that I refused to or hated reading when I was in high school.
I actually enjoyed reading A Streetcar Named Desire.
That was a good book. I liked
That was
Catcher in
one
the
I
Rye,
liked.
which I know is cliche, but I liked that book. I thought it was good. I liked To Kill
Well,
a Mockingbird.
that's Catcher in the Rye, I realized, is Baby's first awful antagonist story.
Yeah,
Protagonist, sorry, not antagonist, protagonist.
like
Where you have like
anti-hero type. Yeah,
a morally gray protagonist, like that you can't fully trust is telling the truth.
right.
Like unreliable narrator. That's it. Baby's
Yeah, there
first
you go.
unreliable narrator.
That's look at you
Um,
with the English lit, the English
I
major
can't think of
phrases.
names right now. My brain, the
And
way the
yet that
wires
came to you.
are crossed today.
But that came to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the brain damage talking. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how when you really look back on it, like people saying how stupid and bad it is, but I realize most of the people I've heard complain about Catcher in the Rye are only complaining because Holden Caulfield is so terrible. I'm like, that's
Most of
the
the
point. You're not supposed to like him.
right. Most of the people I hear complain about it just complain about it because it's such a cliche.
But it's a cliche because it's like the first,
Yeah.
the earliest that we're exposed to.
No, agreed.
It's not the first. Because I mean, Odysseus is
Oh, of course. You could go back and find them, but it's in American literature, it's like the book, the quintessential example of that type of book. So I don't know. Oh, dude, I went down to visit a friend. She's a tour guide, so she's always all over the fucking world. But she was doing a New York City tour, and she messaged me, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, for like I got a night free before the tour starts if you want to get dinner or something." So I drove down, and the hotel was right next to Medieval Times, like literally next door to it. I was so tempted. I was so tempted. I wanted to go. And then so we went and we got dinner. And then as we were driving back, we saw a big group of people coming out. And I opened the window. I was like, "Who won?" And they're like, "Blue Knight." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking Blue Knight." And I closed the window and drove away.
I want to create a restaurant that's basically Medieval Times, but purely based off of the Legends of the Hidden Temple.
The TV series?
Yeah,
just like
there's the purple monkey section,
yeah,
the green barracuda, like everybody has their section.
Okay,
and it's a play. It's just like a Medieval Times where there's actors and stuff like that,
right?
But the drama is all like story based, and then trying to win the Olmec statue.
So you're just like sitting
the Olmec
eating
statue
while these actors are trying to get through the obstacle course. While
yes.
they're like trying to assemble the silver monkey while you're sitting around eating.
And there's like a boulder, like the boulder scene, and they can fucking bring in horses with like Aztec garb and shit. Just fucking go nuts.
I remember going to Medieval Times when I was in like, I don't know, 3rd grade or something like that. So we're talking like 30 years ago, if not more. And that place is still there and still kicking. Yeah. I don't understand the appeal. It's such a weird fucking thing.
My first exposure to Medieval Times was The Cable Guy.
Oh,
yeah. So that was my frame of reference.
Have you ever actually been there?
When I was in Maryland, when I was stationed in Maryland, grown man I was 28.
But
finally went to Medieval Times for the first time.
That's the beauty of Medieval Times. Any age can enjoy.
You know what? I absolutely agree.
It's just the silliest shit. I
got to watch two men sword fight as a horse shit behind them while I'm eating chicken.
I mean, it's essentially like going to a pro wrestling show, except they feed
it really is. Absolutely is.
They give you a big turkey leg and some soup that you can't actually see what's in it because it's too dark in there. So you just hope that there's nothing gross.
I really enjoyed it. I really did.
I enjoyed it when I went.
I couldn't stop thinking of Jim Carrey the whole time.
We need to take our kids there. It's only like an hour, 20 minutes away, hour, 15 minutes away or something like that.
You know what? People at Ren Fairs need a job when Ren Fair is closed.
Okay. You know, on our list of topics is I have Ren Fair fans, right?
Yeah, you brought it.
Like that's gonna be a show one day. We're gonna do a show on Ren Fair fans one day because boy, do I hate the Renaissance Fair. But that's a lot to get into. I don't want to start on that now. So
and lastly that I have is so I'm not segueing at all. I have Lol Cow news.
Uh-oh.
Because that's my trash television.
Which Lol Cow?
It's not. It's actually a brief
You know what though?
on a couple of them.
It is your trash television, but it's better than like real trash television because it's a little more raw. You know,
It's real. It's literally
you're not
like to
getting
these people, it's real.
the edited, and like, you know what I mean, like the
Mm-hmm.
semi-scripted version of it.
So to start off, just gonna mention Cyrax because I have to. He's looping again, and he's in what's called the bandana, his bandana era. So he said he pontificated for like
Wait,
3 hours.
How did it take him that long? No, knowing what he looks like and his hair and his hairline, why did it take him so long to get into a bandana era? Like, look, I'm in my slouch era.
I'm actually going to explain this. This actually fits into your question. So he knows what he looks like. He usually uses what he looks like for pity points.
I mean, I would.
But what he's done is he's like, I'm going to leave the internet, and you motherfuckers aren't going to be able to tell when I come back. And when I come back, I'm going to be a new man. Cyrax is dead. This is like the 4th time he has killed Cyrax, quote unquote.
I'm going to be a new man. I'm still going to look like a fucking goat, but I'm a new man.
Right? Like, he looks like a Baphomet. So
he does. Speaking of, folks,
go ahead.
In our t-shirt shop, new shirt, Hail Satan. This sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story.
No, go ahead.
This comes from, we were at the park the other day and I had my Hail Satan sweatshirt on, but long story, it's still living in my head. I ran into somebody I know, and then we like said hi, and then I was talking to Joaquin and my wife, and then I turned around and they were just gone. They were like in the distance walking away. I was like, they didn't say bye. And we were trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out why he just like kind of left after I said hi. It was like, he saw me and was just like, I get the fuck out of here. But I had my Hail Satan. I was like, maybe it was that. And I was like, but it's not a religious thing. It's a political thing. And then Joaquin thought it would be a good idea to get a Hail Satan shirt that says it's not a political thing. And then under that, in parentheses, not sexual. Wait, it's a political thing. And then under in parentheses, not sexual. So there's a new shirt in the t-shirt shop that says, it's got a big Baphomet and it says Hail Satan. It's a political thing, not sexual. It's a great shirt. Really good shirt.
So
we already sold one, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think you told me, but I don't remember.
I thought maybe you bought it.
Oh, no, not me.
Okay, go ahead.
I was way too indoctrinated into religion to be comfortable wearing a Hail Satan shirt. But so Cyrax is like looping, and because he has phases where he just loops the same shit over and over. I'm kind of like out of Cyrax shit right now because he's just doing the same shit over and over, and that's kind of what he does.
Right.
But he said, I'm going to be gone for like 6 months. And then he's gone for less than like 12 hours. Which is a thing he's done before too, but now he's like wearing an American flag bandana, so he's like has the rock, flag, and eagle shit going.
Changed himself in an instant. Man, that bandana is just all the difference.
And in his head, I believe he's been gone for 6 months. Like in his head, he thinks he's been gone for 6 months.
He probably believes the bandana really changed the man.
Yeah, well, because he has a very bad sense of time. Like he's like, man, you've been harassing me for 3 years, 6 years, 8 years, and it's been the same year the whole time. So he just lies so consistently and so much that if he just says it, it's the truth in his head. But anyway, that's all with Cyrax.
He lives in his own world.
Yeah, his little attic box.
Just like my son.
Because they moved him from the basement.
And Donald Trump.
So then now going to move on to Daniel Larson. Daniel Larson's the homeless lolcow who proves to me that the American justice system is by far the fucking worst and don't care about justice. They care about making the machine work and making money.
Yeah.
Because
he's on our topic list. We need to have that on our topic list.
Probably should be. Because this man creates chaos everywhere he goes. And he has online enablers. Because since he's schizophrenic and, mentally disabled, I think he is autistic. He has this thing where he's blurred the line between like the reality of the internet and reality, and he'll deny actual reality over internet stuff.
Yeah.
I brought him up, I think a week ago or the week before, because he's obsessed with Grace Vanderwall.
You did bring him up recently, yeah. Right.
And,
okay, I remember now.
And so again, he's been to like Vegas, New York, I think Texas, and he has like some fans that enable him. Now, mind you, this guy is a
Sorry.
What?
You listen to Cowboy Carter yet?
No.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What? Okay.
New Beyonce.
Oh no, nah. I don't like
music.
It's anathema. It's not anathema for black people to not like Beyonce. You know what? It is anathema. Screw that. They
nice word, by the way. I love that.
I will get in trouble for that. It's one of my favorite words.
It's a great word. Go ahead.
Thank you, Pathfinder. But anyway, so so he's obsessed with her. That was his whole shtick, right? He's also like an admitted pedophile. Like admitted himself.
That's right. You told me about this. I remember.
And
now. I remember when you first brought him up. I was like, I feel like this guy was a piece of shit, if I remember correctly.
No, he is a piece of shit. And like he has like this guy that took care of him his entire life that he physically abused. He verbally abuses him. And this guy he like borders being an enabler. Like he loves Daniel like unconditionally. But that's a bad way of loving this person.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gone back to help him. But Daniel Larson, like I think he was finally arrested recently.
I wonder what for.
Not just arrested, but actually like spent jail time.
What was it for?
I think it was for.
It was probably all the things.
It was an altercation. It was a verbal altercation.
I was gonna say all the things it could be. It was probably for just being homeless.
Well, if he was in New York, that's exactly what would have happened. Yeah. But he ended up like he would start fights with people where he would punch himself in the face and then say he was assaulted. He had a dog for a while, but people stole the dog from him. And at first, like people would feel sorry for him because he is schizophrenic, he is unstable. But it's funny how he's coherent when he's talking to cops.
Right.
Not that he's still stable, but he's coherent. It's almost as if he just leans himself deeper into his own psychosis on purpose. And he like got mad at a hotel once because they kicked him out because he's known for dining and dashing, and his trolls will like fucking call any building he's in like incessantly. And because his trolls are just as bad as he is.
Kick him out then. Yeah.
He is as bad as he is. Because they use their mask of anonymity to cause chaos around him.
Right.
And under the name of, well, we're just trying to get him in trouble. It's like, well,
yeah, but you're fucking up other people's lives.
You're treating him like entertainment and you're fucking with everyone else. He will fuck up on his own. All we have to do is watch. But he got mad at the place, argued with the manager, and then pulled the fire alarm. That's something that you normally get arrested for. They didn't arrest him.
They would think so, yes.
Yeah, it was like, well, if you can't pay the fine, you get arrested. Well, he skipped court dates. This motherfucker, like...
Well, it's New York, man. No bail.
Chaos. Not just New York. No, mainly it was in Vegas.
A lot
of the shit he did was in Vegas.
I'm just thinking
he went to New York at one point. I think he's back. He's either back in Vegas or he's somewhere else. Any halfway house he goes into or any like shelter he goes into, he breaks shit. He puts holes in walls. He doesn't bathe at all. He had scabies at one point for a long time.
Speaking of bathing, I spent 8 hours yesterday cleaning our bathroom. Because like I didn't just...
It's satisfying once you finish.
It is. It's like I keep walking in and looking around. I didn't just clean like I took like where the grout was like cracking and stuff. I redid all the grout. I redid all the sealant where there needed to be sealant. I fucking took things apart. I put shelves up. I steam cleaned the tile grout. Anyway. My body is killing me today.
You just feel...
I just feel all of the squatting.
You need an Epsom salt bath after that.
Oh, that's a good idea. I got a bag upstairs I found when I was cleaning.
Yeah, we all do. It happens every time you clean the bathroom. There's always a bag of Epsom salt that's been used at one point. It's just
I cleaned the tub too. It's nice and clean.
In a cabinet somewhere.
I regrouted around the tub. Anyway, sorry.
So last locale. This one is actually the most development. One of my favorite locales, as in like I don't think he's a terrible person. I just think he's kind of a shit.
I want to clarify for people listening. It's lol cows.
Yeah, it does sound like I'm saying low cow.
Well, because
sound
lol
like
cow.
LOL cow.
Right, it's lol cows. It took me, I mean, we've been doing this podcast for like almost 2 years now. And it took me probably 6 to 8 months to realize you were saying lol cows.
You never questioned me?
No, I thought you were saying lol cows, and like I thought that was just like another use. I don't know.
Oh, probably. Stupid. But no, they're a LOL cow. Somebody you milk for lols because they, for some reason, will always double down or just not get that they are the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Larson and Cyrax actually aren't really lol cows now. They're more considered horror cows.
Because you milk them for horror?
No, because they cusp the line of being horrifying like creatures. Yeah. Like there's a guy who's like, I think he's either in death row or he's in prison now, but he was a horror cow where they have lol cow traits. Butchers. The same right? Slaughterhouse.
Did I tell you somebody tried to pig butcher me the other day? Have you heard of what? Have you heard of pig butchering?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make it as quick as possible so you can finish your.
Go ahead.
Pig butchering is the newest online scam where essentially somebody reaches out in a casual way, befriends you, gets you to be really good friends with them, like communicates, becomes friends with you, essentially fattening you up, and then they call it pig butchering because then they butcher you and they get a big chunk of money at, like, oh, my dog needs surgery, and they get you to give them a big chunk of money, and then they're just gone. Somebody reached out to me the other day and was like, hey, it's Cheryl. I'm going to miss my massage therapy appointment. Sorry. And I wrote wrong number. And they wrote, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I wrote, no problem. And then there was no text for all. And the next text was, so like, do you need a girlfriend? LOL. And I went, pig butcher. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's gross.
It is gross. I know, it's like, man, have a little tact. Like you went right from just wrong number to, do you need a girlfriend? Come on, man. Like, who's gonna think that's real?
Right.
Like, not just like, I don't know, work your way.
Skill up.
Like,
just skill up a little bit.
Well, maybe I met a new friend. My name's blah blah. Who are you? Like, right to, do you need a girlfriend? Nope, I got a hand.
Oh,
sorry,
man.
Go ahead.
So King Cobra JFS is actually one of my favorites. Like, if he bathed
I've heard that
and brushed his teeth,
name,
I would want to be friends with him, as stupid as he is. Everybody has the dumb friend.
Am I your dumb friend?
I was about to say, if you don't have a dumb friend, you probably are the dumb friend. I don't have friends.
Wait,
I have various acquaintances.
I'm an acquaintance to you? That's what I am? What the fuck was that?
Sorry. That was me sipping loudly at you.
Man, I didn't know I was just fine. Maybe I'll hit up that pig butcher.
They'll be your friend.
Anyway, continue.
Just you'll know I'll never steal money from you. Not on purpose, anyway.
Oh, thanks. Good to know.
No.
Excuse me, I gotta just get off camera for a second.
In the end, he was alone. So yeah, King Cobra. He like gets really arrogant. He has like oppositional defiance disorder. So just no matter what kind of like opinion you have, he has to fight with you.
That's a thing?
And he's I
didn't know that was a thing. I thought that was just called talking back.
I mean, if you can't beat oppositional defiance, you can't beat oppositional defiance disorder out of somebody.
I think my son has that.
That's the problem with it. Like, you can't logic your way around it. They just can't help themselves. It's like an impulse control problem.
No, I get it.
Where and children often do have them. Like, my daughter has it. She was actually diagnosed with it. Yeah. That's why I know that this man has it.
I could think both of my kids have that. Because they just refuse to.
Your daughter is so affable with me.
She always is, but like the 1 or 2 times a year she decides she's gonna misbehave, she just doubles down, like won't stop.
But that's a little kid thing, because my son does that too.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Right.
Again, my daughter is actually like diagnosed with it. Like she has a very hard time.
Done that. I hate doing that. I hate when people try to self-diagnose, especially when it's something I'm actually diagnosed with and I want to punch them in the face. So I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
But anyway, so I think he really has it. Like I watch a lot of his videos for years. And I'm just like, yeah, he just, no matter what they say, and he created this enemy called the trolls, which a lot of lolcows also do.
Yep.
They use the trolls as if it's an actual entity as opposed to randos on the internet being dicks. And so King Cobra, he's like an alcoholic, and we watch him progressively become more of an alcoholic, like really bad. He probably smells like stale cigarettes because he smokes cigarettes all the time. A lot of people lost a lot of sympathy for him because he had a bearded dragon, I believe, that he lost because he would just let it roam around his apartment randomly. It was either a bearded dragon or some kind of lizard, but he named it Puff. He would like blow weed smoke in his face. Like he should never have pets. He should never have fucking pets. This guy is purely incapable of having like taking care of himself, let alone anything else.
Stoned beard. Bearded dragons already look stoned, so I don't know if you know the difference.
No, like Puff, like oh god, I feel bad for Puff. But King Cobra, it's like I constantly think in my head, if I was quote unquote friends with him, because he has like a spinning roster of what are called homeboys, man or woman. You're just a homeboy to him.
Okay.
That is just like a friend he hangs out with for a period of time, and then some stupid crazy drama happens and they disappear.
I get it.
And I was like, I want to be like the reasonable one in that group, but I just can't stand the smell. I know he smells awful. Like his teeth are off. Like his teeth, him and Cyrax have it like side by side.
And you know the smell too. Like you know that smell already.
That tartar,
you have it in your head.
Yeah, just that open butt cheek smell. Just like with a hint of cigarettes. No, not with a hint. I'm sorry, with like a covering of cigarettes.
Stale cigarette smell, yeah, and a little BO.
And of course, there's going to be a hint of tactical soap in there because that's actually like
Axe body spray.
No, specifically with Cobra is tactical soap. Like he is just.
Oh, is that a brand?
I guess.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Tubes. I'm here to bring you tactical soap. It's the best with your sexy goth bad boy here with smelling good and getting the ladies. This man had like a 13-year dry spell, which I don't judge people by how they get laid. No, that's the thing that updated. He ended up getting this gross girlfriend. I legitimately hate her.
Was she on? She was on camera.
Okay,
because I wouldn't believe it otherwise.
She's terrible. She is just as bad as he is with the drinking. She will sit in a bathtub and just howl at like her phone at the trolls, and she is awful. She is fucking awful, like an awful person, 100%. And she'll just sit and argue and just not listen to anything anyone else says. And I didn't really hate her. I disliked her, but I didn't hate her until I heard her arguing with her parents.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you are 42 years old.
That's bad.
Living in her parents' house.
I was picturing a like 20-something.
No. She's in her 40s, yelling at her parents. Yelling at her parents to leave her alone and saying, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. And she's the shrillest, most disgusting voice. I fucking hate her. I hate her as a person. Just from the little bit that I have seen of her.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know me. I know enough, bitch. You're awful. Oh God. But Cobra has been drunk in his apartment multiple times. He gets door dashes of just the most ridiculous shit every day, like cat food and mayonnaise sandwiches. He doesn't order them. His trolls order them to his house. All kinds of stupid
mayonnaise
bullshit.
Sandwiches. Huh.
He's been living in his apartment for years. And Jessica shows up. That's his girlfriend. Jessica shows up twice at his apartment for like 2 months maybe. And now he's getting evicted. That's how bad she is.
He's getting evicted because of her?
Because we all believe it's because of her. There's no other reason. He's been the landlord likes Cobra and takes care of him.
Right.
Essentially. And all of a sudden now this shrill mutant shows up to his house and now he's getting evicted. The timing is not surprising to me. She broke his toilet and just caused a leak. She broke the toilet.
Wait, what?
Caused a leak.
How?
She was turning shit, and then when the chat was telling her, "Bitch, turn it back," she, "Well, I don't have the wrist strength. What, you want me to break my wrist turning it?" Like, you dumb
The regular
bitch.
water control on a toilet?
On the back of the toilet.
The regular valve?
And it was just running and running. And again, this woman likes to run baths and then just sit in the bathtub. And I mean, just sit, clothes, just sit in it and howl for hours.
That's such a weird thing to do.
Like, her brain, half of her brain, like one of the hemispheres in her brain has to be in atrophy.
She's just sitting in tepid water, fully clothed.
Just howling.
Just letting
and the only reason why she's fully clothed because she can't turn off the phone to not live stream. And she got in trouble for being naked and live streaming on her phone. Nobody wants to see.
I was gonna say no one wants to see that though, right? Yeah.
Just look up King Cobra Jessica and you'll understand. I don't usually like.
Send me a link later.
I'll only jokingly make fun of somebody's looks because I will make fun of my own looks. But when you are a terrible person, for me, all deals are off.
No, I think
all bets are off.
I was just gonna say, I think when you're that kind of person, you put yourself out there.
Yeah,
all bets are off.
Because again, Cobra, I think he's too stupid to necessarily be bad. I think he's stupid, and the fact that
he's got to be stupid if he's blowing weed smoke in a bearded dragon's face.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's dragon fucking running around your apartment.
But here's the thing: people have drawn the line at the bearded dragon. This man did that to a mantis. I get it. A mantis is a bug, but he had a pet. I think you call her Mrs. Green. It was a mantis. That thing lasted for like a week. He was blowing weed smoke in its face. Like, yeah, gonna get her high, tubes. That's what's up.
Wait, it died?
Gonna get her high. And then she died.
Yeah.
So he held it, and mind you, King Cobra thinks he's a wizard, by the way.
Did he reanimate it?
No, but he made a wand and put her as the head of the wand because one of his Etsy businesses is that he makes wands, and he put this mantis on a wand. And
I can't talk about this anymore.
He's such a fucking. He's such a weirdo dunce, and my thing is for him, I blame his dad. His dad is such an enabler. It's such a hey bud, you're gonna do your best, bud. Yeah, he's like, what's his name from Simpsons? The high diddly dough guy.
Ned Flanders.
Ned Flanders. He's like Ned Flanders, but without the Christianity part.
All right. We got to get on to our topic.
Sorry. God,
because,
I forgot about our topic.
Yeah, at this point,
It's
we
time
only have about 15 minutes
to begin
So it's going to be a short one today.
the complaining.
Okay. You go ahead and introduce our topic because it was on our list, but you specifically asked me about it the other night.
Well, speaking about lolcows, not all of them are lolcows, mind you, but there is one specific. Her name is Katie Karen. Yeah. But she goes by that vegan teacher.
Yeah,
she is by far the patron saint of vegans, in my opinion.
Yes, and
I'm not talking about all vegans.
This episode with vegans as a topic is probably mostly concentrated on her.
On her. Because fuck this woman. Because my thing is, my initial run-ins, before even like this woman specifically, was that vegans were attention whores. That was my initial, because vegetarians, they were like, I'm vegetarian. Okay, I'll get you a salad. But then vegans came around and was always like, they had to tell you how to live. They had to.
That's the trope. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they have to. They
tell you everything
have
you're
a
doing
superiority
wrong.
complex.
100% of superiority complex. They have to tell you everything you're doing wrong. They have to be very holier than thou, and I'm better than you. Meanwhile, there is no way to go through your daily life without encountering or using some animal product. It's just not possible. Something
not possible at all
in your day is going to involve animal product.
And these people seem to purely be going by morals. But you can't not be a hypocrite. You just can't.
Right.
And so to hold everyone else to a Miss Katie Karen specifically, and yes, I will be calling her Katie Karen this whole time.
Katie Karen.
She has a dog, but or at least had a dog.
I'm going to tag that bitch in this podcast too, by the way.
Oh, we're not big enough for her to give a shit about.
Oh, she might. If she's got somebody to bitch about.
Nope. She is a clout goblin. That's all true. She is.
That's true.
So you could tag her, go ahead. But the fucking Crypt Keeper is not going to respond to us.
You're right, because
I'm sorry, no, the Crypt Gardener. The Crypt Gardener. My bad.
My daughter actually brought her up to me recently.
That's sad.
In the context of just going, vegans are annoying. So I went, wait, what? And she's like,
your daughter's so sweet.
There's this lady on YouTube, that vegan teacher, and she's like really mean to people. Like, I saw a video and she was watching a video that Sniper Wolf did, and she just kept talking about how all the things that Sniper Wolf was doing and eating wasn't vegan because Sniper Wolf was trying these snacks, and she was just talking about how bad Sniper Wolf is because they're not vegan products. And I was just like, why are you being so mean?
Well, my thing is, I would be perfectly fine if I didn't find that I can easily come up with arguments for just about everything she says. And I don't mean like as in like, well, but this, what about this?
Yeah.
Like, no, I can make it purely on the basis of her own logic. And it's like, for instance, she goes, eating animals is wrong, and we all know it. Well, first of all, we're all animals.
Yeah.
And we all don't know that. That's why people are arguing with you about it.
Absolutely.
Now, overconsumption of animals, of other animals, yes. But that goes for anything. If you drink too much water, it's a bad thing. Not just for you, but for everyone else. So what the fuck are you talking about?
And I mean, there are things you could say that factory farming of animals is bad. You could say that the way we treat animal products before they become animals, before they become products, is bad. Like, there's arguments to be made in those situations. But just the general catch-all of, we aren't supposed to eat animals and y'all know it, just doesn't make any... Yeah. And here's the thing. I think she's full of shit. I think.
Oh no, she's full of shit. She's totally a grifter.
Yes, there's no way she believes what she says. But the fact that she is a grifter and says these things because she's trying to get attention makes her a piece of shit and makes veganism just as a whole look worse and worse off.
Yeah. Because that's the same thing with animal rights and PETA. They are the same kind of creature.
Correct.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Another quote of hers that I love is like, if you love animals, you don't eat them. It's like, do you like flowers and plants? Because, I mean...
You eat those.
You eat them.
Yeah, well, there's the life argument she makes too. Like, living things. Yeah. So are plants.
So are plants. They are legitimately alive. They just don't communicate the way you... Like, animals don't communicate the way we communicate.
When you cut grass, it gives off a scent, it's essentially, it's screaming.
Yeah. We step on grass.
We literally walk and step and fucking let our dogs shit on grass.
Like, you're literally basing your beliefs on a concept that we made up because we didn't want to kill each other so we could survive.
Yes.
That whole moral argument you're applying to everything else, but we literally made that so we don't die as a species. We didn't make that for them for that reason.
Right.
We took on animals because they were not just useful, but they were companions because humans have a lot of weird things going on in our brains.
Sure.
So you're literally saying, well, we are better than everyone else. So you're some supreme being, and now you need to take care of everything else. It's sort of like the whole, if Superman was evil storyline that always happens.
Yeah, I get that.
It's the exact same fucking mindset.
I hate when people try to make the argument that humans weren't meant to eat animals when you can, it's scientifically easy to prove. If you go back to our core form, the very, our very basic rudimentary form as human beings before civilization, before anything technological or industrial was progressed, human beings ate meat. We killed animals and we ate them. So to make the argument that people aren't supposed to eat meat just doesn't make any sense to me, because in our basic form we ate meat, in our most rudimentary basic form. Animals out there that are still in their rudimentary basic form because they don't have the intelligence to progress past that are carnivores, eat meat. So, like,
yes,
If you want to make the argument that we shouldn't eat meat now, fine. But to say humans shouldn't eat meat, humans aren't meant to eat meat, is a stupid thing to say. It just doesn't make it literally makes no sense.
And that was the thing that always annoyed me with the whole vegan movement to begin with, was that you're touting like things that aren't necessarily true, and you're weaponizing your own ignorance as if it's a superiority thing.
If you want to make an argument and say human beings should no longer eat meat, here's why, and present your argument, fine. But like you said, using these ignorant statements like humans weren't meant to eat meat, humans weren't meant to do these things with animals, when throughout the history of humanity up until, I don't know, 100 years ago, maybe the late 19th century, that's all we did. We killed animals. We used them we used all parts of the animal for product, whether it was using the hides for clothing, or even further back, using the bones for tools, using the meat for sustenance. Like,
this is how we survive. Now, if you're just a pure misanthrope like myself and feel like people shouldn't exist at all, then fucking say it. But you're not going to. You're not going to, because you want to cultivate an audience.
Oh, of course.
And you want to cultivate outrage and uproar around yourself. We all see what you are. The problem is you're annoying. You're just purely annoying. And my thing is, I feel like
how much you want to bet every night she has a T-bone?
I actually don't. I believe she is a vegan, and it's easy for her to do that.
But is she doing it?
I feel like she is.
She's like legit, or is she doing it to maintain the facade and the grifter?
No, I feel like she legitimately is a vegan. I feel like she is.
She looks like
the thing is, it's more of a do as I say and not as I do.
Yeah, okay.
Like mindset. So like the having a pet thing. She made videos about how
she doesn't like having
pets. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
She's purely an animal activist moralist. But
so what are we supposed to do with domesticated animals?
Like PETA will steal your pet and then murder that pet, as opposed to, and then yell at you for saying animal murder is wrong.
That's what I mean. What are we supposed to do with our domesticated animals then? Like any domesticated cats and dogs, are they just supposed to let them out and hope they don't get killed by a bear?
I saw this idiot online on Instagram. On Instagram, somebody was talking about they got like a hyena or something. Okay. They thought it was a puppy, and it grew up. It was like, oh shit, this is a hyena.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they gave him to a animal shelter. This one weird fucking bitch was just like arguing tooth and nail. And mind you, she had a real profile, so I was not thinking, and it wasn't blocked yet, not blocked, but privated yet. So I think it was a real person. Was just arguing, was like, this should be allowed, released into the wild. People should have taken this animal. It's like, well, unfortunately, this person was somehow acquired a hyena. I think they thought it was a homeless puppy, which would have died on its own without this person, and now cannot live
in the wild.
In the wild, because they will just die. And you just want it to die. You do know nature is not necessarily good, right? Like, nature just means it happens. By nature, humans cultivate and harvest things.
All right, so let's say your cat, if you just left your cat outside and said you're not allowed in the house anymore, it would probably survive. It would find things to kill. It would probably get hit by a car eventually. My dog, man, if I just put her outside and was like, can't come in the house anymore, goodbye, she'd spend until she just died of starvation or something. She'd just sit at the door going,
and people, and somebody could even argue, well, you shouldn't have done that in the first place. First of all, don't say what I should have done in the first place. You should have brought up that argument earlier.
Yeah.
But even if that was the case, you're talking about, we're arguing things that are happened hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we can't change that. We altered how that works. We created half these animals.
Yeah, absolutely. Brought them into existence.
We can't. And mind you, why would you say that about pandas? We domesticated them because they were killing themselves.
Oh, I did not know
they
that.
got addicted. Pandas got addicted to eating bamboo and like stuff like that. So they don't mate.
Oh, right.
I'm just going to eat. And they're dying out on their own. You want that to happen? It's fine. Let it happen.
This bamboo is so good. I'd rather eat this bamboo than fuck.
Eventually, it's going to happen to every animal. It's going to happen to every plant. It's going to happen to humans. We're all going to die out. It's going to happen. As fucking scary and awful as that is.
Man, humans
If
keep
Yosemite
making more of us.
or
I remember when I was
if
a
Yosemite
kid.
goes off, this continent's gone.
That's true. We talked about that last podcast.
Yeah, so
but I mean,
this is really
I remember when I was a kid, it was like
really
there were 7 billion people in the world, and now there's like 8 billion people in the world just from when I was a kid.
We are overpopulating. Now, if you're some kind of weird psyop like to get rid of people, you know what? Fine. Do your thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just feel like most vegans are like their brain is wired to be emotional first and intelligent maybe.
See, so Penn Jillette used to be or became a vegan for the diet reasons, and he used to call himself an unethical vegan because he was just doing it for the diet. He was just eating because he thought it was healthy. But then he slowly all of a sudden just turned into a real vegan and decided that killing animals was bad and like all this shit. And I was just like, well, fuck you. Fuck you.
First of all, if you're a celebrity, you're going to have a bunch of people talking in your ear at any given time.
Of course.
And being indoctrinated super fucking easy.
Yeah, that's true.
So with vegan stuff, first of all, being a vegan is not easy because your body, most society is not vegan.
Well,
and
for the most part,
so you have to have vegan spaces and vegan talks, and most animal rights people are vegan.
It's becoming
so they already
more
have
popular in restaurants and stuff there where they have options now.
Yes, the vegan options, yes, but that's not the default.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. You're right.
So and even during the time Penn Jillette was starting it, probably wasn't like that.
Right. No, it wasn't.
And again, most of them, like, when it was also back when PETA was like seen as good guys. I thought there was something wrong with PETA a long time ago when I was in high school.
I don't remember because I played the good guys.
I remember playing the chick game.
Which chick game?
Well, it was like a Super Mario parody Flash game, and then they get turned into chicken nuggets or some shit.
Okay, got it.
I played that and I was like, "The fuck is this?" And it tricks you.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And mind you, if I have to kill my own food, I was trained to do that. I can do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I'd
but if
prefer
I had to,
not
I would.
to.
If I had to, I would.
I prefer not to. But
I
guess
didn't
what?
grow up in a world where that was necessary, right? So
exactly.
if I grew up in a world
but
where
that's
it was necessary,
exactly
I know how to do it.
Because that means if we have unfortunately we have factory farms, we have farms, we have people that can just do it. There's always going to be people who don't have a problem with that because that's natural in us to do.
Right.
If you're hungry enough, you will grab a mouse and bite its head off. You're just going to do it.
Sure. Yep.
To not have mind you, hurting animals but feeding a dog a vegan diet.
Oh my god! People that
hurts the dog.
Do that fucking shit. My dog is vegan. Oh, really? Is it? When did it tell you?
Boop, 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 boop.
When did it tell you?
Animal control? Yeah. Like, I bet you if you put a steak in front of that dog, he'll eat it.
Goddamn right he would. Probably
like, are you fucking serious? Like, yeah. The thing is, it's the other pendulum swing away from moderation.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with these people. They're not moderating at all, but they think the exact opposite is the problem. I don't want to choose Professor Xavier or Magneto.
Right.
They're both too far extremes.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
Where and people want to say Professor, and as I know, going my nerd shit, but Professor Xavier, you can try to like, well, he just wants to live alone. No, he's kowtowing to people.
Yeah.
Like, that's neither one. They're both extremes. They should be, what you're fighting for should be normalized, but you're fighting for the extreme.
Right.
And that's the problem when you want to talk about the vegans. They've just gone too far to the fact that they're self-parody. And unless that vegan teacher
the best way to put it, self-parody.
Like an Andy Kaufman-esque
PETA too.
Like
self-parody.
Skit. Yeah. If she's an Andy Kaufman-esque skit that's just pushing it as far as you can fucking push it to prove the antithetical point.
I guess it's possible.
It's possible. I don't trust anybody or anything on the internet.
Me neither.
Like, you shouldn't trust me. What you should do is hear what I have to say and then fucking look it up.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, and I feel like that for anybody that says on the internet, look it up.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And don't think that you're going to be right. You're not necessarily going to be right. You're just going to have your own perspective on it, even if you agree with me or not.
No, you're absolutely right. Man, we could complain about vegans probably longer, but we got to wrap it up. So, guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. Go visit our website.
ATIWIHY.com.
You can go there and buy a t-shirt. We've got some new t-shirts there. Like I said, the Hail Satan shirt. You can leave us a message. You can send us a voicemail. Go check it out. But that's it. You got anything else?
I just want to say hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin. I don't know who Martin is, but hi, Martin. Yeah. Vegan be crazy.
Yeah. Vegans be stupid.
That vegan teacher, though, specifically is just such a...
She's going to come up again.
She'll come up again. We'll talk about her more next episode than we started.
Every time I see a video on her, I feel like I'm personally having an argument with her.
I know.
She's really effective.
She's one of those people where you wish you could talk back to her and argue with the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peace.
Later.